Alright, in the last video we looked at some basics on how to use Google Sheets. So now let's take a look at some of the more features that Google Sheets has. So first things first, I want to get some numbers down here in the number of spaghetti strands and the averages here. We're going to base it off of this data, but I want to graph just the averages. So I need to get this data down here. I could copy each of these boxes and paste it in, but an easier way to do that is to highlight and then Control C for copy, or you can right click and hit copy. And then down here, it's helpful if you highlight the same number of boxes. I have 4 boxes, so I'm going to highlight 4 here and hit Control V. Now I need the averages. So I could grab a calculator, type these 4 numbers in, and get the averages of them. However, there's an easier way to do that. I'm going to use some functions. There are lots of functions that you can use, but one of the most common ones that we might use is an average. So we want Google Sheets to calculate an average. I'm going to hit equals to tell Google Sheets, hey, we're doing math here. I'm going to start typing the word average, and we should get one of them that comes up. Average. And now we need to tell Google Sheets what boxes to use. So you can tell it B2, right? That's the box that we want. So I'm going to type in B2. And then we use a colon to say B2 through E2, right? That would be this box. B2 through E2. Okay, so now it's even highlighting here. It highlighted the boxes. It says, is this right? Is this what you want? And I'm going to say, yep, so I'm going to end it with the parentheses to say it's going to do whatever we have in here. It's going to take the average of B2 through E2. I can hit enter to say calculate. Okay, next thing that I'm going to do here, let's do that again. An easier way to type this in, equals average. And then I'm going to just click on that box. I'm going to say this one through this one, right? So that's trial 1, 2, 3, 4 for 7 spaghetti strands. So I'm going to click on that, end the parentheses, and hit enter. You should calculate that average. If we want this to keep going, you know how in the last video we showed you how to copy one box or continue, I think we copied up here. We added more headings up here by clicking on the box and clicking this, getting this cursor to show up and dragging it over. You can do the same thing for functions. So I'm going to click on this and say, okay, Google, we just calculated the average here and here for this row and this row. Now I want it for here, 54, 61, 59, and 62. So we're going to say calculate those averages. So I'm going to click on this box and drag this down. Let's do the next one too. Alright, it's always a good idea to double check your numbers. Does this make sense? Is this an accurate, does 59 look like it could actually be the average of these numbers? Yeah, I mean, I didn't calculate it myself, but that looks good. Seems to be in the middle of those. If you keep going beyond, you could keep going and the function is still here. So clicking on this box, you can see the function is still here. It's the average of B6 through E6, but the computer's just freaking out right now because there's no numbers there and you can't divide by 0. So it's saying, hey, wait, you don't have a number here. We can't divide by 0. Or, I guess 0 divided by those numbers. There's nothing there. But you can use that button. You can use this button to drag down that function and get it to appear in any of those boxes. Alright, I'm going to delete those. Change those. Okay, there we go. So we've got our averages here. Just a refresher of something we did in the last video, we want to change these to numbers. So I have these listed as salaries. Hold on first. You see that heading? It's not really lined up with the numbers. One other thing that we can use as a function here, we can format these all so that they're all lined up right in the middle. I kind of like that, or however you want to line it up. But it's nice when they're all stacked on top of each other. Okay, so I want these to show up as numbers, and then the bonuses, let's make these numbers as well. So I'm going to go up to the top here and click on Format, Number, And I want this to show up as, I guess we could use financial. I'm going to just click on currency. So it's going to show up as, yeah, dollars. $55,000, no cents. So this is just a sample table of some people's and their salaries and potential bonuses that they've earned. So let's see if we can use our new functions to calculate gross income. They have this much salary, but they earned this much also on top of that salary. So we're going to tell Google Sheets equals, because we're starting a function, we want it to be this box plus this one. I'm going to just click on this box. I'm going to say plus, so we're going to type a plus sign, and then we want to add this box. So I'm going to click on that one, and I'm going to hit enter. Does that make sense? 55 plus 2,000, 56, 57. Yup. So we can do the same thing. Again, you can click on equals. If you want, you can type the numbers in. This would be B17, so you could say B17 plus C17 equals, that should be it. Or you can use this feature here. You can drag down the function and it should copy it. So 40,000 plus 35,000 would be 43,500. I don't know what I said there, but I meant 3,500. Okay, let's say we have a tax rate. Let's say the tax is 10% here. So we're going to say 0.01%. Okay, so we're going to put that in here. 1%, right? That's 1%. 10% would be 0.1. Sorry, that's 1%. So I'm going to drag that down and copy that tax rate here. There's no function, so it's just copying whatever numbers I had in that box. Let's calculate net income. So net income, what if we did equals, what if we take this gross income and then we want to multiply it? So I'm going to click Shift 8 to get an asterisk. That's how we can multiply. So I'm going to say, we want 99, okay, if the tax rate is 1%, we want this to be 99% of the income, right? Because if they're paying 1% tax, they would be left with 99% of their income, yeah? So in order to get this to show up as 99%, I'm going to say, okay, gross income, this guy, D16, times 1 minus this. Wouldn't 1 minus 0.01 equal 0.99 or 99%? So really what we're doing is we're saying gross income times 99%. Hit enter, and yeah, okay. So this should be 99% of this number, 57,000. So we're going to do the same thing here. I'm going to say gross income, which would be D17. D17 times Shift 8 to get the asterisk. We can't type an X because then Google Sheets thinks that we're just typing the letter X, and it doesn't know that X is our multiplication symbol too. So I'm going to use the Shift 8 to get to the asterisk to use that as a multiplication. Okay, and then I'm going to do again 1 minus the tax rate. That would give us 99%. So 1 minus 1% equals 99%. Hit enter. And then we can just drag it down. If you don't put an equal sign out in front, here's that formula. If you don't put an equal sign out in front, Google Sheets doesn't really know what you're doing and it won't calculate anything. So be sure every time you want a function, you got to type in the equal sign. Okay, I'm just going to put a border around these. Looks very official. Let's try sum. So we're going to do the sum of these. Do you see how the salaries goes over? I don't like that. So I'm going to click on, there we go. I'm going to text wrap it so it gives us a little more space. So what if we want the sum of all of the salaries, just these values here? What we can do is I'm going to type in equals, and then, hey, here's some options it's giving us. If it doesn't give you any options, you can just start saying, we want the sum. So it looks like that one. And it starts the parentheses there. It says, okay, you're going to give me a range of values, so it starts the parentheses. So I'm going to say I want this one all the way down to this one. I'm going to end parentheses, so it's going to calculate the sum of B16, 17, and 18. B16, B17, B18. I hit enter, and that's our sum. What if you wanted the average of the bonuses? You could type in average, or you can click on one that's given there, but you can just type in average, and then we can say, well, let's do the average of these values. So you can click on them, or you can type in C16, right? C16 through C18. You could also type, once it does the parentheses, you can just click and drag over those as well. 16, 17, and 18, I'm going to hit enter. Does that look like an average? 2,000, 5,000, and 3,500. That looks like the middle. All right. Let's see the last video. If you check out that last video on that I will create, and that will show you some tips and tricks for graphing.